Alrighty guys, how's it going everyone? Texas Man here. If you guys of course watching live Twitch, Douglas447. Thank you guys for doing so. Of course, if you guys are watching the replay on YouTube, the Texas Man 5877 channel, again, thank you guys for doing that. In this video, I'm going to be showing you guys how to get from Guardian rank um how to get from Guardian rank 5 into Guardian rank 6. Now, this is something that I had a very big problem with doing, and I know for a fact some of my friends have had this problem, and I'm sure a lot of you guys have had problems with this. Now, the reason you want to make sure that you get from Guardian rank 5 to 6 is that once you're a complete Guardian rank 5, I'm sorry, once you're a Guardian rank 4, you're basically stuck at getting tier 2 loot and armor. Yes, you might get the occasional um, tier 3 armor and weapons, but it is very difficult and very random. So right now I'm a scout. I'm a rank 4. Once I get this completed later on after reset finishes, I will be completed. I will be a rank 5, and then I'll be moving into doing the rank 6 stuff, which is pretty nice. So just keep that in mind. Once you're at rank 4, you're basically stuck at getting only tier 2 loot. You'll never get 3, 4, and 5. But once you get to 5 and complete that, you'll start getting more powerful gear. So the first thing I want to talk about is mostly power, like getting to the Ascension thing. This is pretty simple. And the rewards doing this is pretty easy. So for the Vanguard Armory Assignment Armor, earn Armory requisitions from the Seasonal Hub, and then you claim it. So basically what that means is you need to go to Portal, go to your Seasonal Challenges, and you need to get these Arsenal expansion tokens. So you get some at rank 20, you get more at 15, 10. So just make sure you're doing these daily bounties here, and of course the weekly bounties, and it'll rank up this track. And what you do is you take these tokens, and then you head over to the tower. You go to Zavala, and in an inventory you can spend those tokens, and you can get tier 3 armor and tier 3 weapons if you're at Guardian rank 4 like I am. So that's how you do that for that part of the Guardian rank. Portal activities. We're going to get into portal activities now. So expert difficulty, complete 3 activities at expert difficulty. Obviously that's going to be tied to your power. So you'll just come here to, you can do either solo ops, you can do fire team expert, you can do pinnacle. It doesn't work for Crucible, unfortunately, but just come here to fire team is probably the best way to do it, and just run 3 of these. I do believe you need to be 200 power for this playlist to even unlock, so just keep that in the back of your mind in case you're wondering. And then so you just run 3 of those. If you don't want, you don't even have to do that, because what you can do is just run that, and then you can also select different portal activities. So we've got Advent Grenade loadout restriction. So this makes it where you're required to use only armor and weapons that are considered new gear. And so, in case you're wondering what new gear is, it has to be stuff that's highlighted in blue. So if you look like right here on my Giver's Blessing auto rifle, you can see that the icon for it being from Kevlar is blue. That's considered a new piece of weapon. And then for my helmet, you can see how it's lighted up blue with the Kevlar symbol over here. That means it's a new / current piece of armor. So if I was put on, let's say, this hood, this iron hood, and I wanted to do that challenge thing, this helmet would prevent you from completing it. So just make sure you have, all of your 3 guns right here are all blue. It doesn't matter if it's Kevlar or Season Reclamation for the time I'm recording this video. Just make sure it's all this stuff. So like I could even put on this, Season of the Deep Scout Rifle, and because it's blue, it would still count. So just make sure you have all that. Same thing for all of your armor. All of your armor has to be new gear, and then all 3 of your guns have to be new gear. Your ghost does not need to be at all. So just keep that in mind. Alright, so moving on from that, portal activity. So just make sure you do that, and then I'll show you guys how to select that later on in the video. Then we've got all these modifiers. So we've got faction unit, faction drop, threat, difficult threat, surge boon, and major negative challenge modifiers. So I'm going to show you guys how to do this in the quickest and most effective way to do all 6 of these modifiers, and also to do these 2 portal activities, running expert difficulty and this Advent Grenade player stake loadout restriction thing. You can do all these all at once if you want. So what I would recommend is that you open up Portal, boot up Fireteam, make sure that when you're doing this, you have people that are actually going to stick with you to do this. Because if you don't, redoing this is hard. So either do LFG on whatever device you're playing on, whether that's Xbox, PlayStation, or PC, or you can use, of course, you can go into Fireteam Fighter and make a searching playlist thing. So what I would recommend is coming into Fireteam Ops, select Midtown. Matchmaking, as you can tell, is off. And then first thing you're going to do is come over here to Customize. And because of my power, I can do Expert just by default. So make sure that you have selected Expert. So you can get that done. You don't have to if you don't want to. You can knock it down to Advanced for 100 power for the enemies, or even Normal for 10 if you want to do that. But obviously, you got to run Expert if you want to get that those 3 things done here for the portal activity. So you got to make sure you have that completed there. So there's that. Booting up. Where's Midtown? There it is. So we're going to select Midtown Onslaught, and then we're going to come over here to Customize. And then, so we've got modifiers. So we got rule modifiers. So when you're running Expert, it will have combatants, and it'll tell you what combatant you're fighting, whether that's anti-barrier, unstoppable, or overload. So make sure your guns fit those so you can actually kill them when you're doing this. And then adversarial lock, the combatant faction for this activity is Hive. So just make sure you got the faction locked completed, and you'll be good there. So challenge modifiers, we've got Rage and Avalanche, Threat and Catapults and Shroud. You don't really need to run these if you don't want to run any of these. You don't have to if you don't want to. They're not required for any of those things. All right, so moving on, we've got Void Threat that we can put on here. We also have Difficult Void Threat. We have Kill Touch, Counterfeit, Subtle Foes, Slow and Small, Blast, Hive Moriarty, and Hive Fire Pit. So if you look right here, for this activity, we can put on Void Threat, which would allow us to complete... Void Threat would allow us to complete the Threat Challenge right here. So that would complete that modifier right there if you wanted to do that. So there's that one. And obviously these rotate on a daily basis, and sometimes you'll get new ones added in on a weekly basis. Next one we're going to look at is Difficult Threat. So this one is Difficult Threat. You just have to select it, put it on, and there you go. So unfortunately you can't have both of them, so you will have to run Midtown a couple times to get all these done if you want to do that. But so here's Void Threat, and this will get you your Difficult Threat right here, your Difficult Threat challenge completed. That one. Next up, and as you can tell, because I'm putting on these boons, it's increasing stuff like that. Then next, we're going to look for, what do we got here? Minor negative, minor negative, minor negative, major negative. So if you equip this, player has modularity reduced outcome. So this is for your major negative modifier, which would be right here, major negative. So that would complete that one right there. All right. And then, yeah, see, too many buttons. Then the next, we're going to look at, let's see, make sure we got everything there completed. Faction unit, which is the thing that I'm needing to do later. So it'll make it where all exploders have more health, which is nice. A lot of times faction unit can be applied automatically to expert activities. So sometimes you'll go and you'll do a portal activity. Right here. Sometimes the modifiers in here will automatically have it, but it won't count. So you will have to be careful about that. Okay. Moving on. So we got that. So that's the faction unit. And then faction drop is right here. This is another modifier that you need to complete. And this makes it when defeated acolytes spawn fire pools that cause damage over time. So that's for the faction unit 1, which is right here that I haven't completed yet, but I will. It's just kind of bugged for some reason, so I gotta redo it again for some reason. So we got that one done. And then, what else? That. So that's all those. Then we're going to come over here to player stakes. So you have your time bonus, HUD. You don't really need that if you don't want to. It doesn't do anything. We also have equipment locked and avant grenade. So avant grenade, like I said earlier, this makes it where your weapon and armor loadout is restricted to new gear. So you just literally have to select it and it'll be on. Okay? Got that one done. Next, we have boons and modifiers. So, last thing we got to do is get a surge on. It sounds bad. So for this, we can either do strand or arc surge, and it just makes it so the outgoing damage from us as guardians is increased by 25%. So it can be, arc or strand. I would recommend arc, probably just the best for this activity. And then there we go. So you can tell we've got that surge one selected, which is going to make it where we'll be able to get this surge boon modifier right here completed as well. So open portal, and then just make sure it's got the loadout restriction. That's for the avant grenade, so that's ready to launch. You can also make sure that whatever modifiers you want selected, you just click on modifiers and you can come in here and make sure everything is set up. So, you got your faction locked. So, that's completed. Got no HUD, store alert storms, arc surges on, avant grenader, all these other things. Yeah, just, make sure you have what you want on before you launch the activity. So I hope this video was helpful for you guys. What's cool about running Midtown is it's only 30 waves. So doing this activity, even though you might have to do it 3 or 4 times, each time you run it, it only takes about 20 to 30 minutes, which is really cool, as long as you have a fire team that knows what they're doing. So thank you guys for watching. Have a good day. If you guys have any questions, please post them down into the comment section down below of the replay onto YouTube, and I'll see you guys all in the next one. Peace out, Guardians.